hope it's good. It's probably going to be terrible. I just call it. It's very difficult to take 12 years off and then come back and have a one-off with Brock Lesnar of all people. So I don't know. I hope it's good.
And so, how did the Disco Inferno character actually come about? Like how?
It was Raven's idea. We brainstormed on a gimmick. He came up with it, and I basically modeled it and just perfected it, I guess. But it was Raven's idea.
And so, like, what did you model it after?
The Honky Tonk Man.
The Honky Tonk Man.
Yes. The gimmick was a disco version of what the Honky Tonk Man was.
And was there any sort of tugging the arrow from Saturday Night Fever sort of thing?
Just the way I dress. Yeah. I mean, of course that. That's what you think of when you think of the character. Yeah.
And who came up? Like, I've always wondered, like, who came up with the theme song?
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart.
That's Jimmy Hart's voice singing the song, actually, too. Yes, it is. that female sounding voice is Jimmy Hart.
Oh, wow. Well, you learn something
every day, right?
Now, the match that you won the TV title on, it was you versus Alex Wright, and you guys go for a cross-body thing. It's sort of, I don't want to call you out, it sort of looked like a botch, or was that sort of the...
No, that's the finish. Two guys cross-bodying each other. Like, they want to make it look like a botch, it turned into a finish. Like two guys, wrestling. That's back when wrestling wasn't as like as choreographed and smooth as it used to be. Sometimes clumsy looks more realistic, as opposed to looking like we were like helping each other,
Like if WWE brings you back, like would you accept?
Oh, it just depends on the money and the dates and stuff. Everything. I would, No, you never retire. You never retire. I mean, as long as they pay you to do it and you're healthy, you never retire. But it would just be like, like I do these, I still wrestle. It's just, is it worth my time and money? That's until my body can't take it anymore. That's the way I look at it.
What would be sort of your sort of dream angle if they brought you back?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have, I've never really thought about things like that. My dream angle would be to wrestle for the belt at WrestleMania, so I could make the most money that show. That's
Whenever WCW was ending, did you just choose? Did you choose to just?
Yeah, I was burnt out, so I didn't want to go over right away. I would have thought about it later, but I was working overseas and getting paid good money for it, so it never really materialized. And I started with TNA.
And I was wondering, I saw you on the Nikki Glaser show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that?
Well, she was coming in the club and going to be staying there for 24 hours, and I had no idea. They go, "Hey, can you do this?" I'm like, "Well, do what?" They're like, "Well, this comedian's going to spend 24 hours," and I just went, play the role of the guy at the door greeting her and stuff and everything. And so that's how it was. She actually literally spent 24 hours at the club. Like she slept in one of the beds, slept on one of the couches. It was funny. So.
And, you went from an indie territory to like big arenas. Was that sort of like nerve-wracking for you?
Not at all. I never got nervous in front of the more people I wrestled in front of, the less nervous I was. Always. That's the way I've always been.
What's sort of like the craziest thing that you've ever seen, like either out on the road or in the ring?
Oh, when Juventud went crazy in Australia, was naked in front of a hotel, screaming at the top of his lungs. He had to be subdued by like 6 police officers.
What was the reason behind it?
He was just messed up. He was just like crazy. We had a night of partying, and he was like, just went nuts. So.
I'm a native of Pensacola, Florida.
Right.
And so what was sort of traveling through the sort of southeast territory?
We never stayed in a place we always did a loop. So it was like I never spent a night in Pensacola my entire career, because it was always Pensacola. Then maybe New Orleans was the next show, or Tampa or something. So you drove to the next town after the show.
Like, would you ever want to work with Fandango or anything like that?
I would. I'd probably think that guy could probably be better off using him. A guy like me managing him would be a better gimmick for him, probably. So.
And what does the future kind of hold for you? You said never retire. So what
I'm in podcasting. I do a show called Keeping It 100 with Conan on Podcast One. It drops on Wednesday nights, early Thursday morning, and I do a podcast with Vince Russo on the Russo brand on Podcast One that drops on Mondays.